Good afternoon, whenever and wherever you are. Steve Sullivan on Sully's Short Sermons That Don't Suck So Bad YouTube channel. We've kind of morphed into some Monday musings, and whenever I randomly think of something that I want to talk about that may be of nominal interest and importance, but certainly something we all encounter on a regular basis. So today I'm going to discuss, or complete discussing, the recent fast food wars that have been taking place as they all kind of eventually move to the meal deal. When I mentioned in the previous video, catch you up, that meal deals were like $12 a throw and through 2025, and suddenly they realized they were costing more than Chili's, and so they started dropping the price. So we in the previous video, if you haven't seen it, we rank, or at least I rank, the top 5 fast food restaurants that I frequent, and hopefully you will do the same, and put any input you have into the chat box, or you can email me directly through communityveterancoordinator@gmail.com. So today, part 2, we're going to discuss how to navigate a drive-through. This is not something that can be done easily. There really is an art to this, and it needs to be taken seriously. We've had a change in the in what's happened in the drive-through industry. Some things have stayed the same throughout the majority of my lifetime. Some have changed pretty radically. The word multiple comes to mind. Really, when you think about fast food, the word multiple has been the biggest change that we've seen, whether it's multiple menu items, multiple franchises, multiple fast food options. And we're going to look at a few more today. I want to jump into, first of all, multiple entries. Not all fast foods have multiple entries, but those that are doing well, large, like Chick-fil-A, Whataburger, the new Whataburger here, and McDonald's will have multiple entries, which frankly, I find amazing that you can have multiple entries into a drive-thru, and they know that the truck that pulled in front of me got the sausage biscuit and I did not. Somehow they know that. I don't know how that happens. It's been happening for a long time with very few errors that I can think of ever happened. So I will give a hats off to the drive-through industry and employees for being able to do that effectively. So you got multiple entries into the drive-through. You even got multiple entries into the parking lot to get to the drive-through. At some of these, I know the McDonald's here, you come in any way. It used to be one route you made. You came in through the drive-through, and then drive-through entrance, completed your order, and left through an exit. That's no longer the case. So you have to kind of jockey for position, if you will, trying to get into the space. It's the proper space for ordering and for encountering your proper entry. Once you're able to do that and get through and get in one of the lanes, usually the outside lane is less crowded, so I jump in the outside lane. You then have realized that we also now have, you should just have one screen. We now have multiple screens. Used to be you could stop at a screen, take your time, order appropriately, and then choose your food item of choice, then go through and pick it up, and that was that. But now they've got a screen that you encounter before you get to the screen, and it's usually synonymous with very, very similar, if not exactly the same as the ordering screen. So I myself have been known to look for speakers, maybe even talk to a blank screen before and trying to make an order. Not ashamed of that. It's a lesson learned, a teachable moment. So you go through your first screen, and by God, you better stop at that first screen and have your order ready when you get to the actual drive-through, because these drive-through employees and those of us that have worked as a drive-through employee know that you don't mess around, especially at certain times of the day. You need to be ready for your order when they ask. they prefer a less than 3 second lag time to your order, but that's not going to happen for me. I'm usually going to take my sweet ass time. So you've got multiple screens. You get to your window, and now we're ready to place our order. And patience is the first thing, the word that comes to mind here. Patience. Patience not only with yourself, but with the drive-thru employee as well, because it's not easy on either end. This is something that has plagued me for decades now, and that is we can build a space station, and we can fly around the globe willy-nilly, if you will, like it's nothing, but we cannot create a drive-through speaker that can communicate between two Homo sapiens. So I've kind of tossed that in my serenity prayer, if you will, something that's just not going to change. The serenity prayer attributed to Francis of Assisi, but I don't think he actually came up with it. Basically, it's God grant me a serenity to change the things I can't, screw the things I can't, and the wisdom to know the difference. Rough translation. So, yeah, I've tossed that out the window. I'm not going to be able to communicate like I would like to, drive through experience. So that leads me to the next thing, which falls easily from the first of not being able to communicate clearly. And that is ignore the first question that you're asked in the drive-through. Just completely ignore it. That's been my best experience. Number one, you can't understand it. We'll pick Arby's for no reason. Not throwing any shade on Arby's, but I guess because I worked there at one time. Welcome to Arby's. You know that it's a question because it goes up at the end of the sentence. But other than that, you're not going to know what the hell they said anyway. Generally, it's a introduction of a food item that is a new menu item. Corporate offices insisted that they open with this, and it's a new item that's only going to be around a week to 10 days, most likely anyway, maybe 2 or 3 weeks, months if it goes well. But it's not an item that I want. It's not why I came there. It could be that they want me to use my app, which I guess is worth knowing, but by now I know that if I have an app and want to use it, I'm going to use it. If I don't, I'm not. So just a simple no thank you to the first question, and then proceed with your order. And it matters the order in which you place your order. Found this to be the case recently at Wendy's. I've been frequenting them because their new biggie, $6 biggie, where I can get a burger, fry, nugs, and drink for $6.50. But they're very particular the order in which, and I ran this yesterday, or multiple times I've run into it. I thought I had it down. I led with the burger, and before I could get my burger completely ordered, it was, "What do you want to drink?" I'm like, "Hang on, I got this. It's my 9th time to order a $6.50 biggie. I got this. Just hang on, be patient." You order your burger, then you order your fries, is a natural assumption at Wendy's. Then you order your nugs, the sauce that you want with your nugs. The only sauce that we have at Wendy's is the barbecue and the horny mustard. Same at Sonic. Those are the only options, and that's plenty. We don't need more nug sauce than that anyway. So you order in the best order that you can to please the drive-thru employee. While doing that, let me just suggest that apparently this is a new Wendy's concept. This is why I think they moved out of my top 3. Maybe they're number 2 on my list. I can't remember. But one time I was chastised for not ordering ketchup at the drive-thru. Now, I accepted in 1989 that you have to order ketchup when you get to the window. If you want, it's not coming to you. Sometimes napkins will come you'll get one napkin for multiple meals, and you'll have to request more napkins. I guess we're cutting down enough trees to put up giant apartments, at least here in Raleigh, unaffordable apartments, that we have to really limit the distribution of our napkins and our ketchup, I guess, as well. So the lady didn't get mad at me. She just let me know next time order at. So I said, okay, I sure will, but I won't. I'm going to order ketchup if I think of it at all at the window itself. So that's kind of it's kind of the condiment dilemma and the kind of condiment crisis, I would almost say, that we've gone through in the last several years. Is you've got to order your own damn condiments, and you've got to do it in the place and time that now it's mandated, or at least suggested. You now have ordered your food, and you can proceed to the window. And again, here the word multiple comes into play once again. We used to have one window. You went to that window and ordered and got your food and went on. That was the simplicity of a drive-through. We now have multiple windows, especially at McDonald's. You've got as many as 3 windows. So you've the first one, you're just going to give. She's going to aim the debit card weapon, the weapon of mass debit card destruction at you, and you find out for some reason we can't get uniformity in how we use our debit cards, credit cards now. The chip can't always be at the bottom, or always at the top. We've now got the option. Some people will force you to just tap the damn thing on top of the drive-through gun. Just tap the thing. But anyway, you order at the first window, and then you move to the second window at most of these restaurants to get your actual food items. And once you get your food items, something I missed, I picked up from an old friend that used to be in my youth group back in the day. You want your food hot, and you need to let them fresh, and you kind of need to let them know that ahead of time, especially when it comes to a cheese stick. There's nothing worse than a cheese stick that's been sitting in the fryer since the Biden administration, and nothing better, may I say, than a solid hot cheese stick fresh out of the fryer. So always be sure to say, I would like this fresh. Even as my friend did say, I expect to wait when it comes to fries or fries, nuggets, or the sacred mozzarella stick. So you're now, where are we for the love of small animals? We've now ordered, I went backtrack. So now we're at the window. We've gotten our food. Always check your food to be sure that it's right. And I think at the algorithmic analytics now are at about 72% accuracy for drive-through orders. I'm often below this, and I'm a kind of a person of trust, and we'll just move on and ready to get out of the drive-through, especially if they're stacked up behind me, sometimes honking. But I will pull up a little bit. It's the best option. At McDonald's, you're pulling up to the third window, which is a window that is used when I want my caffeine free, or my diet. I want my senior coffee caffeine free, or I want my fillet of fish with less than a gallon of tartar on it. That's what the third window is for, and it's a punishment window. It's a window that you have to go and wait in a sort of a holding tank for that special order that they'll then give to you in the third window. But third window for me also is a good solid window to examine your fast food options. Be sure that you've gotten the items that you wanted, and they're easily seen and easily identified and are fresh. My wife is very big on anything that's not fresh. I don't care that much. I don't go to a fast food expecting like I'm eating at someplace really nice, like Golden Corral. I'm just going there to get food generally, but I've learned to stop and be sure you got at least the right items. I'll compromise on a cold fry or a bad nugget, but as long as it's all in there and at least something in there is fresh, you're good to go. Be sure your bag is secure. Be sure it's not in your lap where I place it, as I cannot make it all the way home without sticking my hand in there and beginning to eat the fries quickly before they go cold. But it is best to place it uh, snugly, roll the bag appropriately, place it snugly in the seat beside you so it remains hot until you get home. Um, we've almost completed the process successfully. Expect or don't expect, I would say, customer service, because there are those who are just simply, and this is one reason we never have to worry about AI invading the drive-through industry, because many of the drive-through employees are already automatons and will say and show and display absolutely no emotion whatsoever throughout the process. I just experienced that with the lady I call sedentary woman, which is another thing. If you go to a drive-through often, it's good to come up with nicknames because you'll likely encounter the similar faces. You know, sweet Asian woman with pink hair, bless you woman, who's no longer at the McDonald's, and I miss her. Uh, but feel free to come up with nicknames of those you encounter often. But other than that, be patient with these people, because they are the ones who will touch your food. They were the ones that will do the food what they will. So you've completed it. You can now exit appropriately. Hopefully without pissing off the people behind you because of the time you've taken to complete the order. If someone in front of you is dragging their feet, it's nice for me at least, to exercise my imagination as to what it is that might be the problem, whether it's an unfresh food, a bad food item, or just a conversation with their niece that is now working at the drive-through. But anyway, those are just bonus tidbits to make the thing a happier process, rather than just getting through it efficiently and getting the hell out of there, which is really what you want to do. So you now have completed your order and may proceed home with caution, identifying the nearest exit and dodging the nearest car that enters, because, as I said, we have now multiple entries coming in. Some of these larger fast food chains, different angles, so you don't want to have an accident. You want to get out of there, get onto the road safely, and make your way back home. I hope some of these tips have been helpful to you. Certainly, they've been helpful to me and good for me to share, and hopefully you'll benefit from. Again, if you have any other drive-through experiences that have been funny, unique, troublesome, whatever, please share that in the comments section, or at communityveterancoordinator.com, which I know you're not going to do that one probably. So thank you and have a darn good day. Appreciate you joining our discussion today on drive-through etiquette and efficiency. Adios.